Welcome back everyone. Today we're going to have a deeper dive into a particular style of watches. And namely, we're going to focus on this brand, Laco, one of the OG German Flieger watchmakers. As you can see in front of me, we haven't robbed a Laco delivery truck. The purpose for us having all these watches is our company, Think Global Logistics, is celebrating the 10th anniversary this year. And to celebrate the customers that's been with us since day one of our inception for that business, we decided to get these customers a lovely thank you present for being with us for 10 years and also a sign of appreciation. And what better item to give than a timepiece? Nothing hits like a well thought out watch as a gift to mark the time and an anniversary. So I went and acquired a whole bunch of Lacos, and I thought, you know what, when's the last time, or when's the next time we're going to have so many watches, and let's do an episode and share with our viewers. So sit back and enjoy. So what got me onto Laco? To be frank with you, I do know the brand, but I never looked in depth in terms of what the brand stood for. It wasn't until recently when I was actually on the market, I think it was Chrono 24, and I was searching for a watch for legibility that allows me to mark the track of time in terms of the 30 seconds, a minute, 5 minutes, and so forth. The reason for that is I'm also actually learning to become a commercial helicopter pilot. One of the processes, or one of the procedure during the startup and shutdown process, is to making sure that you have a timepiece to time the increments that is required before you do a certain action. And I looked at my watches. Sure, I have some watches that could easily do it, could be a chronograph or so forth, but I didn't find any that was legible. But in hindsight, my Sinn 556 is a Flieger style watch. I could have easily used that. But hey, as a watch lover, we use any opportunity to try to buy another watch. And like I've always advised you all before, when buying watches, firstly, I always go towards secondhand. And so I started searching on Chrono 24, and before long, I didn't know what I was looking for, to be frank, but I kept on coming back towards the Flieger style because the legibility of the dial, the sharpness of the markings and the secondhand and all that, it allowed me to glance at it very quickly for me to know what is going on. So after searching here and there, I found a beautiful example on Chrono, I believe, and it happened to be a Laco. Now, it's this particular timepiece, to be precise. This particular timepiece is the Archambault Stund. Sorry for my German pronunciation. Clearly, I'm not German. And the price point was really, really good. I think it was 465 Australian dollars. And acquired it from Tyler over in Nashville. So Tyler, if you're watching, thank you for the watch. You're a watch lover. You definitely gave me a wonderful watch without any marking. It was pristine. And what was great about it, Tyler had a great eye to actually buy this beautiful, beautiful desert strap. It just makes the watch pop so much. I've actually changed it back to the original grey strap which comes with the watch. As we come into summer in Australia, I think I might put the yellow one on because I like to walk on the wild side. If you're in the market for a watch, for whatever reason or purpose, you know, go secondhand first, because this is by all means like a bargain for what I paid for it, under 500 Australian dollars. Came with full box and papers, pristine condition. Poor Tyler, he bought this watch in July of 23. He paid a royal sum of 540 US dollars, which if we convert it to today's Australian dollars, it's well into the close to 900 Australian dollars. So I effectively saved half of what Tyler paid for it. And what I got from Tyler was this well-kept watch with an extra strap, and it's just stunner, right? Like there is no flaw to it, and it's exactly what I wanted. The blue is so striking. I highly recommend you all go to Laco's website and look at the Argent Bleu Stund. The most beautiful blue dial watches that I own is the Grand Seiko blue dial, which was that really dark ocean sort of blue. But this blue just, I mean, I think this is my favorite blue dial in my whole collection at the moment. It's like once you see your eye on it, you just can't get your eyes off it. It is a sunburst dial, but it's just executed very nicely. Because Laco's website is super easy to use. I mean, you go to their watch menu and then you select a, like a style of watch, and then you start basically customizing that watch, adding, taking off, choosing this, choosing that. Eventually you get this sort of custom-made watch to your specifications. I believe this particular lume on here is the cheaper variant. It's the only difference between the cheaper variant and the more expensive variant, from what I've also consumed on YouTube and read, is that the cheaper variant will have this slight yellowish tinge, whilst the more expensive variant, it's whiter and it's sharper, crispier white. Now, looking at this blue dial, to be very frank with you, it doesn't matter what you choose. You choose the yellowish tinge to it, it also pops. It makes the blue pop so much. And I'm sure the crisp white will also look really attractive. So this will have a Miyota movement in it, and it's a pretty thing to look at. And there I was sitting down going, well, I'm really liking this Flieger feel. All of a sudden I got this Flieger bug. And I was like, went onto the Laco website and I was looking around, shopping around. Out of nowhere, it was like, hey, the company's 10-year anniversary is coming up. We need to buy our loyal customers that's been with us for that long to give them an expression of our thank you. And I was like, well, good price point. I can make some engravings on it, which makes it even more special. And I thought, well, why not? So there I was, selecting different options. I boiled it all down to 3 types. The first type is this limited edition Laco with the green dial. Now this is also the Argent Stund, I believe. It's of the same grade as my original blue. It is also a limited edition, so it's actually individually marked. So this particular one is 215 out of 250 pieces. So they only made 250 pieces of this green dialed variant. The beautiful strap it comes on, it's got that beautiful green stitching that goes so well with the green dial. And the green dial, it's more of a matte finish compared to the blue dial, which was a lot more sunburst. But this matte finish gives you this very sort of English countryside. It grabs your attention, and the legibility and the uniqueness of the Flieger dial is fantastic. Now, I think this is a good time for me just to quickly cover the ground of Flieger watches. Well, Flieger obviously is a German word. It's a flyer. It simply means flyer, which means flyer watches. And it is very much a phenomenon around World War II when they created these watches in the late 30s and so forth. The original Flieger watches always is a 55mm watch, and they were produced by 5 watchmakers. One of them was Laco. The other ones are Wempe, Stowa, A. Lange & Söhne, which is, for me, the best watchmaker in the world, over and above Patek, and IWC. IWC being the only non-German watchmaker of the Flieger watches. From my research, Stowa and Laco, they're about similar price points and similar propositions. The cases are, for me right now, the Laco is finished extremely well. And the reason why I say it's finished extremely well is on my hand here is an IWC, a Flieger style watch. It's a chronograph, the Petronas edition. And it's also sandblasted and so forth. Sure, it's got some beautiful beveling, so there's some contrast in texture. And then I'm comparing the sandblast nature of the Laco. This is probably 15 times the cost of this watch, but we're not comparing apples with apples. I'll love to get my hand on an IWC Mark 20 to compare that with the other Laco variant, which is the Stuttgart Pro. I think those two will be a close match.